Hands on your knees. Just pull the shoulders back, chest through. Deep inhales and exhales. Deep inhale, arms come up. Exhale, open up your arms towards the right. Look over your right shoulder. Another deep inhale, extend your arms. Exhale, open up towards the left. Look over your left shoulder. Inhale, arms up, interlace your fingers at the top. Pointers up. Deep inhale, extend. Exhale, lean over towards the right. Back to center. Another deep inhale, extend, and lean towards the left. Back to center. Release. Interlace your hands behind your back. Pull your shoulders down. Deep inhale, extend. Exhale, forward fold, lifting up those arms. And back up. Good. Let's go ahead and pull your block. Put it right next to your right hip. Place your right forearm onto the block. Left arm comes up and overhead, reaching towards the right. Try to pull those shoulders back, chest through. And back to center. We'll switch sides. So block goes over towards your left hip. Left arm goes onto the block. Right arm comes up and overhead, reaching left. And back to center. Good. Block towards the side. Let's go on to tabletop, starting with some hip circles. You'll lean back, come up towards the right. Nice big circles. And go the opposite direction. And back to center. Moving on to cat and cow. Remember to inhale cow, exhale cat. Follow your own breath. Back to center. From here, we're going to walk our arms out and sink our chest into puppy pose. Keep your hips up. Back up to tabletop. You're going to place your block right in front of you. Place both hands on the block. Keeping your hips up, you're going to sink into another puppy pose. Arms remain straight. Let's come back up, reset. One more time, sink into puppy pose. And back up. Let's come up into our knees. Grab your block, place it right next to your right ankle. Hips stay forward, left arm comes up and overhead. Half camel. And flow into the other side. Block right next to your left ankle. Right arm comes up and overhead, reaching back. We'll do that one more time. Block next to your right ankle. Half camel pose. And switch sides. Back to center. Hands come down, tabletop, tuck your toes, down dog. Go ahead and walk your dog. Bend one knee and bend the other, focusing on one leg at a time. Eventually you'll flatten both feet, push those hips further back. Rock them side to side. Inhale, right leg comes up. Bring that foot in between your hands. Lower that back knee. Sink your hips. Interlace your fingers. Hands come onto your right knee. Go ahead and push down, sinking your hips even further. On your next inhale, arms come up. And open up your arms towards the right. Keeping this twist, reach up with your left arm. Reach as far back as you can. Windmill your arms. Pull those hips back, straighten up the right leg. Deep inhale, lengthen your back. Exhale, lower. Make sure you're flexing that foot in front of you. Another deep inhale, lengthen. One more time, lower. And back up. Let's pull your hips back to the front. Back knee comes up. Right leg goes back. Chaturanga. Into an up dog. Rock your hips side to side. Down dog. Inhale, left leg comes up. Bring that foot in between your hands. Right knee comes to the ground. Sink those hips. Interlace your fingers. Hands come to your knee. Then push down. Sinking your hips even further. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, open them up towards the left. Keeping the twist, the right arm reaches up and back. Windmill your arms. Pull your hips back. Flex that foot in front of you. Deep inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. Another deep inhale, lengthen. One more time, lower. And back up. Let's pull your hips back to the front. Back knee comes up. Left leg back. Chaturanga. Up dog. Rock your hips. Down dog. Inhale, right leg comes up. Bring that foot in between your hands. Keeping your hands on the ground, we're going to straighten up that front leg. Deep inhale, lengthen, look forward. Exhale, lower. If you want, you can use a block here as well. Just place it right in front of your foot. Lower. Deep inhale, lengthen your back, look forward. One more time, lower. We're going to place that block on the inside of your foot. Left hand goes on the block. Swing your right arm up, keeping both legs straight. Try to look up towards that right hand. And back to center. Right leg goes back. Do some hip circles. Back to down dog. Inhale, left leg up. Bring that foot in between your hands. We're doing the same thing here. We're going to straighten up that front leg. Inhale, lengthen, look forward. Exhale, lower. Again, if you need the block, go ahead and use it. Lengthen your back, look forward. One more time, lower. And back up. Bring the block onto the inside of your foot. Right hand goes on the block. Swing your left arm up. Look up towards that left hand. And back to center. Pull that left leg back, hip circles. Back to down dog. Rock your hips. Let's inhale, right leg up. Bring that leg across your body for pigeon. Okay, if you need to, we're going to stick that block underneath your right hip here. Square up your hips. Deep inhale, lengthen your back. Exhale, lower. Let's come back up. Another deep inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. And back up. Deep inhale, lengthen your back. Twisting over towards the right. Back to center. Another deep inhale, lengthen. Exhale towards the left. Back to center. Lift your hips up. Right leg goes back. Do some hip circles. Back to down dog. Take some deep breaths here. Inhale, left leg comes up. Bring that leg across your body for pigeon. We're going to stick that block underneath your left hip. Square up your hips. Make sure you're flexing that front foot. Deep inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. Let's come back up. Another deep inhale, lengthen. Lower one more time. And back up. Deep inhale. Exhale, walk your hands over to the left. Back to center. Another deep inhale. And to the right. Back to center. Hips come up. Left leg goes back. Do some hip circles. Back to down dog. Deep breaths in down dog. Let's shift your weight to the front to plank. Let's go to plank on your right side. Left arm comes up. Look up towards that left hand. If you want, you can go into tree. And back to center. And to the other side. Right arm comes up, look up towards that right hand. If you want, you can go into tree. And back to center. Push yourself back into down dog. Deep breaths. Inhale, right leg comes up. Bring that foot in between your hands into a high lunge. Hands at heart center. Lift that back leg up into warrior three. If you need to, go ahead and grab your block here. Bring it right in front of you. Lift that back hip up. And hold. The block will provide some stability for your warrior three. Make sure you're flexing that back leg. If you need to, bring the other hand down. And slowly lower. Hands come down, framing that front foot. Right leg goes back, chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Inhale, left leg comes up. Bring that foot in between your hands. High lunge. Hands to heart center, warrior three. Again, if you need to, grab that block in front of you. Make sure you're flexing that leg behind you. And slowly lower. Hands come back down. Left leg goes back. Do some hip circles. Lower to tabletop. Sink your hips. Swing out your right leg. If you need to, go ahead and grab your block. Put it underneath that right hip. Flex that foot in front of you. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Deep inhale, lengthen. One more time, forward fold. And back up. Good. Swing that right leg back. Extend out the left leg. Block goes underneath that left hip. Flex that foot. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. And back up. Swing back the other leg. Block directly underneath your hips. Bring your knees as close together as you can. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, left hand goes on the outside of your right knee, twisting over towards the right. Look over your right shoulder. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, other side. And back to center. So lift up onto your knees. Remove the block. Tuck your toes, down dog. Walk it out in down dog. Inhale, right leg comes up. Bring that foot in between your hands. Up into warrior two. Left arm goes behind your back. Right arm comes up. Reaching back. Back to center. Straighten up that front knee. Reach and lower. If you need to, grab your block. Put it on the inside of your foot. And look up towards that left hand. And back up. Bend that front knee. We're going to grab our block. Reach out in front of you. Come into half moon pose. Left hip stacks on top. Left arm goes up. Look up towards that left hand. Using the right hand on the block to stabilize. And slowly lower. Let's windmill your arms. Right leg goes back, chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Inhale, left leg comes up. Bring that foot in between your hands, warrior two. Right arm goes behind your back. Reach up with that left arm. Keep that front knee bent. Back to center. Straighten. Reach and lower. Look up towards that right hand. Back up. Bend that front knee. Reach. Lift up that back leg. Stacking the right hip on top of the left. Half moon pose. Try to look up towards that right hand. And slowly lower. Windmill your arms. Left leg goes back. We're going to lower all the way to our belly, coming up into Sphinx pose. Shoulders back, chest through. And lower. Hands next to your chest. We're going to do a couple of cobras, so elbows pointed back. Deep inhale, keeping your hips on the ground. Go ahead and exhale, lift. Slowly lower. Another deep inhale and exhale, lift. Lower. One last time, deep inhale, exhale, lift. Look over your right shoulder and towards your left. Back to center. Go ahead and push your hips back, coming into child's pose. And back up. Tabletop, tuck your toes, down dog. Just walk your hands back, forward fold. If you need to, go ahead and grab your block. Place it right in front of you, helping you forward fold. Rock your hips side to side. Now, if you're really advanced in your forward fold, you can also use the block to get deeper into your forward fold. What you would do is flatten the block, step up onto it, and place your hands on the ground. This elevates your hips. Get you deeper into that forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your back. Exhale, lower. And release. Good. Blocks out towards the side. Now lower your hips. Extend your legs out in front of you. Hands next to your hips. Push down. Straighten your back. Deep inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. You can do the same thing here with the block to challenge yourself a little bit more. Place it right behind your feet. Grab the outside of the block. Deep inhale, lengthen your back. Exhale, lower. And deep inhale, lengthen. One more time, lower. And back up. Good. Bring both feet in. Knees out towards the side. Inhale, lengthen your back. Exhale, lower. Another deep inhale, lengthen. One more time, lower. And back up. Extend your legs out, shake them out. You're going to grab your block. We're going to go into our double pigeon pose. But for those of you who are trying this for the first time, you'll probably have to sit on the block. It helps elevate your hips so you're able to better stack. So when you're stacking, you want to focus on ankles and knees, stacking one on top of the other. You're going to work the knee down as far as you can. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold as far as you can. And back up. We're going to pull our feet back so that our knees are stacked. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. And back up. Remove the block, shake your legs out, and we'll do double pigeon on the other side. So if you need to, again, stick the block underneath your hips. Stack ankles and knees, flex both feet. Deep inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. And back up. Let's pull your feet back, stack your knees. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. And back up. Good. Let's remove the block. Place it right next to your mat. Legs out, shake them out. We're going to lower down to our back. Knees to your chest, hug them in really tight. Rock side to side. Release your left leg, bring it to the ground. Do some ankle circles with your right ankle. Go the opposite direction. Good. Extend out your right arm. Keeping your right shoulder on the ground, go ahead and pull that knee across your body. Back to center, we'll switch sides. Bring your left knee to your chest, ankle circles. Opposite direction. When you're ready, left arm goes out, keeping the left shoulder on the ground. Pull that left knee across your body. Back to center, knees back to your chest, rock side to side. Release and grab your block. Place it underneath your hips for a supported bridge pose. Arms go out by your side. Activate your glutes. Tighten your core. Deep breaths. And if you like from here, making sure your block is stabilized, you're going to lift up your legs, straighten it. Supported shoulder stand. Flex your legs, engage your core. Lower back to bridge. Hold it here for a couple more breaths. And back to supported shoulder stand. And lower. Go ahead and remove your block. Go into happy baby pose. Rock side to side. Make sure you're flattening your lower back on the mat. And release. Back up to seated. We're going to work on some chest opening sequences. So you'll place the block long ways. You want the block to fall right in between your shoulder blades. You're going to lean back. You can have another block underneath your head if that's more comfortable. Or from here, you're just going to let your shoulders fall out towards the side. Deep inhale and exhales. Using your elbows, go ahead and push yourself back up to seated. This time, we're going to bring the block sideways. You want this outer edge of the block to fall right below your shoulder blades. So you're going to lean back, adjust accordingly, and lower. Again, you can have another block underneath your head if that's more comfortable. You're going to reach your arms overhead, trying to reach for the ground above you. And back up to seated. Good. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to flatten the block. Push the block all the way up against your hips. Lean back. And lower. So you want both hips and shoulders to be flat on the mat. Some people like to keep their legs extended. You can bend them if you'd like. I personally like to bend my knees. Arms out by the side, palms up. If you want to, you can try rocking your knees side to side. On your next exhale, see if you can sink your hips a little lower, keeping your shoulders on the ground. Lift your hips up. Push the block right underneath your tailbone. Rest your hips on the block. Arms out by the side. Again, you can rock your knees side to side here. Another thing you can try is to bring your feet together and let the knees fall out towards the side. Straighten out your left leg. Bring your right knee to your chest. Hug it in really tight. And hook that toe. You can use a strap here as well if you can't reach that toe. Extend out your leg and pull it down. Hug knee back into your chest. And release. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Left knee to your chest, hug it in. Hook that toe. Straighten and pull. Hug your knee into your chest. And release. Lift your hips up. Block out towards the side. Knees into your chest one more time and rock side to side. Go ahead and release, coming into Savasana.